covered the sensitivity so far. So sensitivity is related to what? It is related to deviation of a target variable. It is related to deviation of a target variable due to the movement of single parameter. Due to the movement of single parameter. So if I say like that, if I change the interest rate, and further what would be the impact of the change of the interest rate on the prices of the bond, that would be basically related to what? That is related to the sensitivity. So that we have covered so far. So now let us consider the next part related to it, that is the volatility. I already told you that quantitative measures of the risk is classified into three categories based upon the sensitivity that we have covered. Second, it is related to the based on volatility, and third one, it is related to the based on downside potential. So we are going to cover the second part, that is related to the volatility. So now what is volatility? Volatility itself is related to what? It is related to stability and instability of some random variable. So if we look at some variable, so how random it is? It is basically related to what? It is related to the volatility. So now let us try to understand the volatility part from the graphic expressions itself, So let us try to understand it. Okay, so if we draw some parameter over here, or if we draw some target variable over here, or a random variable over here, in that particular case, it must be having different values for the different scenarios. It will be having different values for different scenarios, and we can find the average value of the same. That is said to be the mean of the variable. So let us take the case that we are having the different interest scenarios. So let it be 6.5%, 6.6%, 6.7%, 6.8%, and so on. Okay, so now for these rate of interest, there will be different values. Or we can say under the different market scenarios, will be having the different values of the random variable. So let us take the case of the random variable R. So we are basically assuming any of the random variable over here, which is said to be R, and we are basically looking at the different values of the random variable at the different market scenarios. Okay, so let us take the case, it is having the value R1, R2, R3, R4, and so on up to Rn. These are the random values of this particular random variable R at different scenarios. Is that clear? Now we can find the average of the same. So for all the different situations, if we club all the situations and divide it by the number of the situation scenarios, that will give us basically what? That would be the mean of the random variable. So we can find it out by adding them up all. So it will be R1, R2, R3, and so on up to Rn divided by the number of terms, that is equal to n. So that will give us what? That will give us the value of the average. So we can say that is a mean value of the random variable. So it is represented graphically as a vertical line. So it is the average value or the mean value we are having, Now once you have calculated the mean value, the value of the random variable would be either on the positive side or would be on the negative side. So it may be the case that some of the values are above the mean and some of the values are below the mean. So that is basically the different values. So all the dots are representing what? These are representing the different values. Okay, so some of the values under the different scenarios would be below the mean value, and some of the values of the random variable would be above the mean value in other of the situations. Okay, so that is the case related to that. So kindly please confirm if you are able to understand it or not. So we are having the random variable over here, which is R, and under the different situations, under the different scenarios, we are having different values of the R over there, and we just found the average of that random variable that came out to be RA. We represented it with the RA, that is a mean value. So I'm just inferring that some of the values of the random variable under the different situations will be having the values below the average value, and some of the values of the random variable would be above the mean value, or it may be the case also that the values are equal to the mean at some time also. Okay, so it is related to the different scenarios. So each and every dot over here in the graphical form over here is representing the value of the random variable under the different situations. Is that clear? So that is basically related to what? That is a graphical plot of the random variable under the different situations. Is that clear? Now, what does it mean actually? It is basically meant to be said to be the dispersion. It is said to be the dispersion, that how the value is dispersed. how the value is dispersed. Now if we say we have having one graph equal to that particular, so this is our first graph. If we just draw the another graph, and let us take the same case that we are having an average value, and further we draw the graph. In this particular case we are having more dispersed value. Now the graphs over here clearly indicate that the volatility is more in the case of the graph number 2. This is clearly visible over here. So this is basically related to dispersion, that how the values of the random variable are dispersed over the mean value. So that is related to what? That is related to volatility. So if we draw a graph over here, it will be in some that form, and in this particular case the graph will be somewhat wider. So we can basically say the volatility is more in the case of graph 2 rather than that of the graph number 1 over here. Is that clear? So volatility is basically related to what? It is the standard deviation. Volatility is what? It is standard deviation. So, and further, standard deviation is represented by sigma over here. It is represented by sigma. And what is standard deviation? Standard deviation is basically the dispersion of the values from the mean value. In the simple layman language, we can say that the standard deviation, that the deviation is from the mean value. And standard deviation mathematically is equal to under root of variance. It is square root of variance. Mathematically it is equal to square root of the variance. And how we can calculate the variance itself? So what is related to the calculation of variance? So variance is represented by sigma square. If we represent a standard deviation by sigma x, we can represent the variance as sigma x square. We can represent variance as the sigma x square, and it is basically the squared differences of the mean from the different elements. So that is basically related to what? That is related to the variance itself. Okay, so how we can calculate variance mathematically? Let me give you an idea related to that. So let me first of all clear this all. Okay, so we are having the different values over here, that is equal to R1, R2, R3 and Rn up to Rn, and we calculated the mean value as it is equal to Ra. We said the average value or the mean value is equal to Ra. Okay, now in this particular case we are going to do what? We are basically going to calculate the variance over here. So we'll be doing what? We'll be basically picking up one term and we'll be subtracting it from we will be subtracting the mean from it. So it will go like R1 minus Ra square plus R2 minus Ra square and so on up to Rn minus Ra square and divided by n. So it is basically the squared mean of all the terms. So it is basically equal to the difference of the term and the mean term, and we are squaring it and divided it by the number of the terms, number of the elements we are having. So that is how we can calculate the variance. So we will be also solving some of the numerical problems. So that particular concept would be very much clear, that how we can solve the variance and how we can calculate the standard deviation. So now let us have a look at the theoretical part for the volatility. Okay, so it is said to be volatility characterizes the stability or instability of any random variable. So we considered graphically that it is the mean value where it is stable or not stable, that how it is dispersed. So it is a common statistical measure of the dispersion around the average of any random variable. So we just picked up some random variable, it is having average value of Ra, and how it is dispersed around the average value. And for the volatility is the standard deviation. I already told you that the volatility is equal to what? It is equal to the standard deviation, and standard deviation is equal to the square root of the variance. It is a square root of the variance. So standard deviation is the square root of the variance of the random variable. That how we can calculate the variance, I already told you. So it is possible to combine the sensitivity of the target. It is possible to combine the sensitivity of the target variables with the instability of the underlying parameters. So now it is possible by the way of volatility, it is now possible that we can combine the sensitivity factor, that how the factor is changing along with the changing of the different parameters in the market itself, that the random variable is changing its value. That is the first scenario we took now, that we basically changed the different scenarios and we were having the different values of the random variable r1, r2, r3 or up to rn under the different market scenarios. So we basically combined the sensitivity factor. So that was our sensitivity factor, that it changed its value from r to r1, r2, r3 and all the other values under the different scenarios. And further we combined it with now the dispersion factor, that what is the stability or instability related to that particular parameter over there. So we, in the case of the volatility, we are combining the sensitivity of the random variable with the dispersion of the random variable, that is said over here. Okay, and further volatility helps us to capture possible variations. So in this particular case, if you look at the dispersion factor over here, we are capturing both the phases. We are capturing the upside phase also, we are capturing the downside phase also. So in the case of the volatility, we are capturing the good one and the bad one both. Okay, but we need to concentrate on what? We need to concentrate on the bad side. We need to concentrate on the downsides, because we are dealing with what? We are dealing with the risk factor na. So if we want to quantify the risk itself, we need to concentrate, we need to focus on the downside potential, not at the upside potential. And that is a third particular measurement method that we'll be considering. Okay, so that will be the based upon the downside potential. Okay, so in the case of the volatility helps us to capture variations around the average of the target variable, that is both upside and downside. So in one scenario, if the interest rates changes, it may be the case that we are benefited, and further in the second scenario, it may be the case that if the interest rate is changed, that we are facing some kind of the risks. Okay, so in the case of volatility, it is covering both the aspects. But we are basically focused on the downside potential. Okay, so volatility over a time horizon is equal to daily volatility into square root of t. So volatility over a time horizon is equal to what? It is equal to daily volatility what you are having, and multiplied by the square root of the time period given. And we will be solving the questions related to it in the very next class. We will be solving the case studies and also the questions related to the volatility itself. Okay. Next, it is related to what? It is related to the downside potential. But before going to that, we are going to solve some of the examples. So first example, it says operating profits in different 5 zones were analyzed as follow. So these are different 5 zones named A, B, C, D, E, and further over the different 5 years, we are provided with the different profits. We are provided with the different profits, operating profits. So for the firm A, or we can say for the zone A, for year 1 we are having profit equal to 11, 9, 3, 12, 30, 11, etc. Okay, and further we could calculate mean standard deviation from it. So I'll be telling you that how we can calculate the one, and rest of the one have already been calculated. So we will be just inferring something out of this particular solutions. Okay, so first case we are going to solve over here, that how we just calculated the standard deviation equal to 3.25 in this particular case. Okay, so now for the zone A over here, the total terms are given to be 11, 9, 3, 12, 11, and that's it, and that is it. Okay, so this is for year 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is just given to us. So now let us try to solve it based upon this particular data. Okay, let me get rid of this. Okay, so now the screen is quite clear, you can understand it well. So first of all, so as to find the mean, how we can just calculate the mean? Mean is basically the average, that is 11 plus 9, that is 20 plus 3, 23 plus 12, that is equal to 35 plus 11, that is equal to 11 plus 9 is equal to 20, 23, 23 plus 12, that is equal to 35, 35 plus 11, that is equal to 46, 46 divided by 5. So it is equal to 46 divided by 5, that is equal to what? That is equal to 9.2. That is equal to 9.2. Okay, if we just solve it out, we get the mean value as the 9.2. And now we need to calculate the variance, because I already told you, so as to calculate the standard deviation, you need to calculate the variance. Now how we can calculate? So we will take the first term minus the mean value, that is 9.2, and square of it, and then the second term, that is 9 minus 9.2 and the square of this, then the third term 3 minus 9.2 and the square of this, and further the fourth term, that is equal to 12 minus 9.2 and square of it, and the last term, that is 11 minus 9.2 and further the square of it, and divided by the number of terms, that is equal to 5. Now we just need to solve it, and this is the variance. This is the variance, and we will be just solving it out right now. So it is equal to what? It is equal to 11 minus 9.2, that is equal to 1.8 multiplied by 1.8, and that comes out to be 3.24, plus 9 minus 9.2, that is equal to 0.2 multiplied by 0.2, that is equal to 0.04, and plus 3 minus 9.2, or 9.2 minus 3, because it is squared, so the minus signs would be cancelled. So it is 6.2 multiplied by 6.2, and that comes out to be 38.44, and the fourth term, that is equal to 12 minus 9.2, that is equal to 2.2 multiplied by 2.2, that is equal to 7.84, and further the last term is equal to the first term, so the answer would also be the same, that is 3.24. okay, so 7.24 plus 3.24 plus 3.24 plus 0.04 plus 38.44, that is equal to 52.8 divided by 5. So it is equal to 52.8 divided by 5, that comes out to be 10.56. So the variance over here, we calculated it as 10.56. It is not visible over here. Let me place my hand, because there is some reflection on the board itself. So it is 10.56. So we got the answer. Let me write over here. So we got the answer as 10.56 in this particular case. Is it clear? Okay, so now what will be the standard deviation? Standard deviation is equal to the square root of the variance. Now square root of this, that is 10.56. That would be the standard deviation, that is under root of this, and that comes out to be 3.2496. We can rewrite it as 3.25. Is that clear that how we calculate it? Is that clear how we calculated the standard deviation? So first of all, we need to calculate the mean value after we calculated the variance. Then further we concluded the standard deviation from the variance by taking the square root of the same. Okay, so that comes out to be 3.25 in the first case. And here the standard deviation that we calculated, as it comes out to be 3.25 in the first case,